Dumb Jocks, another episode, another day. Today we are going to cover the April recap for the MLB season. I'm going to talk about how impressive my Red Sox have been, while Mike is going to go on a rant on how dog shit his Yankees have been.
I can also say about the Red Sox, I told you so. And who expected that to happen?
I would like to have a formal half apology because I'm not 100% sure yet because it still is early. I'm not going to say they're going to be great because they could also lose the next 10 games. But speaking of the Red Sox right now, I just want to read you off some stats about how well they've been playing recently. The Red Sox offense across Major League Baseball is third in batting average, fourth in on-base percentage, fourth in slugging, third in OPS, third in runs, fifth in homers, and third in WRC+. This is with a lineup with no Adam Duvall, no Trevor Story in this lineup. I still do have concerns for this team, of course. I still think their rotation is very spotty. I also think that their bullpen is still not very good. But Masataka Yoshida, 12-game hit streak after everyone thought he was going to flop, which I hate with these international players where we let them play for a month. If they struggle, we think they suck. And then all of a sudden they turn around and they're like, oh my God, these guys are so good. But yeah, Mike, I mean, they own the AL's active win streak right now with 5. They have the second best record since the 14th of last month. They're 7-3 in their last couple series. They're 18-14 right now. And as I read to you before we started recording, they're 18-14 despite playing 8 series against teams either in first or second place. So they're not beating bums. They're beating good baseball teams, granted it being in comeback fashion, which I don't think is sustainable. I think you can agree as well. Yeah. You can't make a comeback and walk off every game you play. But they had a good win last night against Toronto, where I think they won 8-3. They had a good game last night. There's at times where the offense looks great, and there's other times where it doesn't look great. And there's times where the staff looks great, and there's times where the staff doesn't look great. Their bullpen is still a question, so I'm not 100% sold on them yet. They're playing great baseball right now, but I'm not sold. I would like to hear your opinion on the Red Sox before you go into your rant about the Yankees.
It's what I thought they would be. They're kind of a scrappy team, and I know it's not what we think of when we hear a big market team. But they're a scrappy team. They claw, they fight their way back. They don't really get blown out all that much, although they don't really blow anybody out.
That is very fair. You know, they're not going to blow out teams.
The exception of this Milwaukee game here is they won 12-5. But you know, they've not only had a couple of games where it looks like they just kind of rolled over and died.
But I mean,
they definitely.
Set 9-3 against Tampa. You know, like it's a scrappy team. I don't know that it's sustainable to keep playing tight games, especially when you get against the good teams. You know, Toronto. They beat Cleveland, but I don't know that it's sustainable to keep going to one-run games with a bullpen that deep.
Not even a bullpen that deep, a bullpen of you go it. Well, I also think another reason for this is they go into 8th, 9th innings up 6-3, and then they leave those innings tied 6-6. Yeah. So it's like the reason I'm not 100% sold, as I said, is the offense has been fine. Even without Duvall and Story, the offense, I will say, has been spectacular this season. They've been very good.
I would also push back on their beating good teams. Like they've taken first 3 or 4 with Toronto, but
chance for a sweep tonight.
You know, they're 1-5 against Baltimore. Are we sold on Milwaukee yet?
I think it's also one of those you play who's in front of you, which I think you can agree with.
I get that, but
granted, do I think they're beating great teams? No, because they played Tampa Bay. I watched them get their ass kicked by Tampa Bay. But they're beating Toronto, which I didn't expect because they won 3 games against Toronto all of last year. Yep. They've already tied that total in the first 3 games they've played them this year. But overall as a team, I mean, when you have Yoshida who's hitting at 330, Verdugo is hitting 315, which he's having himself a monster season. Yep. But there is one guy I want to talk about who has had a resurgence since he has come back to this roster, and it is Jared Duran. I don't know what he did down in AAA, but this guy looks like there's nothing on the planet he can't hit right now. He's hitting 400 right now, which, granted, I'm not saying that is sustainable at all. Let's not get it twisted. I don't think it's sustainable at all. But last night had a hit and a double with 2 walks. I think the thing with Duran that I've loved from him recently is Last year, the strikeouts were high, the walks were low. This year, he's walking a lot more than he's striking out. I mean, he's what? He's 22 for 55 to start this year, granted it only being 55 at bats. But still, he's playing well. Devers, I would like to see the average a little higher. He's only hitting 226. He's got 10 homers and 27 RBIs. I think his average will jump up. But overall, for the Red Sox, I think it's just their staff isn't great. I mean, their lowest ERA is a 5.3 right now. You're not going to win games with that. That's not sustainable. But I think they're also dealing with injury. I mean, Whitlock is hurt again. Jansen was on the IL. They're missing Duvall. Story, I heard, is getting ready to start hitting next week. So he'll be coming back hopefully soon. You're assuming that adds another level to this lineup. I told you in the beginning of the year, I was never really worried too much about the offense. I knew it could be a streaky offense where when they're hot, they're hot. But they're going to hit a point where they go cold. What happens when this team does go cold? I'm not expecting this team to be able to rattle off wins with a good offense and a terrible staff. So for right now, they're playing great. 18-14, nothing to scoff at early in the year. But as we are going to get into with your Yankees, they're not very much far behind.
No.
So if you want to get into your Yankees spiel,
this might go for a while, but
lock in, ladies and gentlemen. Time to talk about the last place New York Yankees.
I imagined a pie earlier of how much blame was to go around for the Yankees. And I'm putting 5% of it on Aaron Boone. And I'm not an Aaron Boone guy. I never was. Thought he was unqualified for his job. But he cannot do anything more than he's doing because he's got the players that cannot carry a team. I'm putting 5% on the players.
Okay.
So how much of the pie do I have left?
A lot of fucking pie left.
I got 90% of a pie left.
90%,
and it's all going to Brian Cashman and co. This team was poorly assembled. I said it to you all offseason. This just did not feel like a Yankees team. There's always a non-roster pitcher that ends up making the team. It was Chichi Gonzalez last year. There was nothing this year. And you know what? I questioned their depth. And you know what? Willie Calhoun, Franchi Cordero are getting regular at-bats right now. Franchi was just sent down, but he had been. And they wouldn't be on 27 other rosters.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to – I don't even want to have input. I'm just going to let you go off. I'll give my opinions after.
Aaron Hicks needed to be gone from this team 3 years ago. I thought his extension in 2019 was stupid. All right. And, John, I'm going to give you a trivia question here. OPS plus is a stat that calculates how much better a hitter is than the average hitter. 100 is average. I want you to guess Aaron Hicks' OPS plus.
Oh, we're talking like real low OPS plus. Like, are we talking like in the point somethings? Like,
he has an OPS plus of 4.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That means he is 1/25th of an average hitter right now. And his defensive WAR is -3.
Oh my.
Which means he actively hurts this team in every conceivable manner. And he's getting regular at-bats. He has 7 hits. He has 7 hits more than me, and I haven't played yet. Like,
I'm convinced you could go up there and you could muster 7 hits.
I don't know if that's possible, but
Mike, you could bunt 8 times. You could bunt 20 times, and I think you can get on base 8 times.
I'd be gassed by the time I reach first.
But, like, 4?
4.
4?
Yep.
Oh my.
The lowest previously recorded over a full season, I looked it up earlier, was Chris Davis, who had an OPS plus of 23. This is almost 6 times worse.
They're better if he just wasn't even there at all. Like, they're playing as if he might as well not even be there. Holy, and that is a mind-blowing stat, by the way.
Yeah.
That is something
And you know what?
Fuck.
I'm going to sing Garrett Cole's praises. He's probably, if the season ended today, he's probably going to win the Cy Young. But you know what? This rotation without him is bad.
It's
bad. All right, I trust Nestor to figure it out. Clark Schmidt had his first good start of the season last night against Cleveland. Last night as we're recording. Johnny Britos had a couple of okay starts and a couple of very concerning starts. Domingo had one good start against Cleveland.
Like, I'm looking at this. fucking staff. I'm looking at Garrett Cole's 1.3. And then I'm looking at Domingo Germán with a 4. Cortez with a 5.
Read you some
Schmidt with a 5. Like, fuck, dude. Help this man.
I'm going to read you some offensive statistics. They are 26th in average. They're 24th in runs per game, 29th in hits per game. They are 22nd in sacrifice hits. They have the 3rd most runners left on base.
So they're getting them on base.
They're the worst BABIP in the league.
What did you say their batting average was with runners in scoring position? Did you read that or no?
No.
Because I'm assuming if you're saying they're tops and runners left on, that means they're runners in scoring position.
I mean, I've watched every Yankee game. I can't imagine it's any higher than, I don't know, 250.
I was going to say.
210.
Because I'm even looking at their averages right now. I mean, fuck. Your highest batting average is 289.
Yeah.
Which is not from Aaron Judge, by the way, people. It's from fucking Anthony Rizzo. And I think with the Yankees, you and me have talked about them for years as being a home run or strikeout team. Well, here's the problem, Mike. They're not hitting any fucking homers.
I can't believe we've gotten to the point that the Yankees have me begging for Josh Donaldson to be in the lineup.
And it's not like he's hitting well, by the way. He's hitting 125.
He only played a few games before he got hurt.
Okay, fair enough.
But Jake Bowers, IKF, Oswaldo Cabrera, Willie Calhoun. Do those sound like Yankees to you? And you know what? I know the Yankees can do it. All right, Gio Urshela, Luke Voigt, they can find diamonds in the rough. You know the difference? When Gio Urshela came up, he was a revelation because Miguel Andujar got hurt in 2019. All right, and when it became clear Andujar's shoulder was worse than they thought, they just had him get a surgery because Urshela could hit. He did not come up and be relied on to be your cleanup hitter like, I don't know, Willie Calhoun is right now.
Even as Waldo,
Willie Calhoun needs to be a cornerstone of this lineup, and he's just not capable of that.
And even guys like Oswaldo Cabrera, another young guy who's supposed to be great.
They're not giving him do they hate the guy? I don't know.
I was going to say, do they hate Oswaldo Cabrera? Like,
I don't understand. This is the guy.
How does he only have 19 games played this year?
This is one of the guys and I'm sure most of those aren't even starts because he pinch runs a lot.
I mean, granted, he is hitting 196. But I don't know how many
at-bats. This is the guy. This is one of the guys you were unwilling to trade with for God himself the last few years.
He's got 92 at-bats this year.
This is one
granted,
of the guys.
Is the same amount of at-bats as Aaron Judge. But
this is one of the guys you were unwilling to part with for God himself the past few years. All right, Luis Castillo would be a godsend on this team if they had him right now. And they were unwilling to part with him specifically. They're on their 4th third baseman. They're on their 2nd choice shortstop. All right, and this dude can play any outfield position, and he's not starting. Why is Aaron going to play him?
Why is Aaron Hicks in the lineup over this guy? Granted, don't get me wrong, Oswaldo Cabrera's not hitting very well, but at least he can play some fucking defense. I watched it. I saw a highlight a couple of days ago of Aaron Hicks dropping a pop-up, and I wanted to text you and say, why the fuck is this guy on the field?
I ask the same question every time I watch the Yankees.
And I'm gonna say this, Mike, and I don't want to be that guy, but Aaron Judge has been disappointing coming off the season he had. Granted, he's hitting 261, but there's no excuse for why he only has 6 homers this year.
I don't think it's fair to say he's disappointing. He's
got 35 punch-outs already.
He's not the MVP. He was never going to repeat that season.
He has more strikeouts than Giancarlo Stanton does, and Giancarlo Stanton has a higher batting average than he does.
But he was never going to return to MVP form. I think the issue is just like last year.
But
too much was asked of Judge to carry this lineup. Because you know what? Gleyber Torres has struggled since the opening couple of weeks. DJ's only just figuring it out now. He's back from his toe injury.
Rizzo's been the only consistent.
Rizzo's been consistent, but even Rizzo's had series where he just disappeared. The Texas series, he vanished. The Toronto series, he vanished.
But he's also playing Gold Glove defense.
But he's playing Gold Glove defense.
So you can, and the same thing why I didn't want to do anything with Anthony Volpe is because he's also a rookie who's also having the responsibility of having to be a very good defensive shortstop.
And
he's not even hitting terribly.
And you know what? Don't come at us and try to be the underdog here, Cashman. Don't
go out there and say don't try us out.
Don't try. You made a series of bad moves, and I would respect you so much more if you just owned up to it. All right?
You signed Carlos Rodon, and he hasn't even put on his fucking uniform yet.
All right.
The only time he's put on his uniform was at his fucking press conference.
The big one to me is Frankie Montas, who was hurt when they traded for him, and then they were surprised that he got hurt. It wasn't a freak injury. He had the history of shoulder problems, was hurt when they traded for him, and then were surprised he got hurt.
People were calling that a move that was going to take them to the World Series. You traded for a guy that was hurt.
I said at the time, I think I texted you and I said, this is the dumbest move this team's made in years.
And this was the chance, as you said, where Luis Castillo was on the table.
But we didn't want to part with him for two guys that we're not playing right now on our fifth outfielders.
And look at what he's doing in Seattle right now. You know what he's doing for Seattle? Exactly what he could have been doing for the fucking Yankees, which is winning them playoff games.
As far as actually trying to fix the team, first of all,
that was going to be my question. Is this one of those situations where they just have to simply play better?
It is not. I think there are that is definitely like the biggest piece of it. But I think
you just got to fucking play better
for each individual player. I mean, I'm not going to go into all 26 guys. Clark Schmidt needs to stop throwing his cutter because I think I could hit that thing. And I think he's throwing a beach ball there.
I'm looking at this team. With this lineup, there's no excuse for you have less homers than the Red Sox do.
This team's 2 games above 500. They have the number 2 bullpen ERA in baseball.
Which is saying
somebody rationalize this to me.
And you have Garrett Cole where it's like you can't Mike. You have the number 2 bullpen. You're not going to go to your bullpen when you're down 8-0 because your starters can't get outs.
And
then the best part is you get a good start from Garrett Cole, and then your bullpen blows it up.
Yep.
So it's a lose-lose. Cole makes a great start, your bullpen shits the bed. Your starters have terrible starts, and your bullpen keeps it competitive, and your offense can't score runs.
Yep. I mean, I'll tell you what move really would have helped if they had made the move I called for when we did our previews and they traded for Ian Happ. Because you know what? This Yankees lineup right now,
could use Ian Happ.
With these injuries, the Yankees lineup feels like it's 3 batters. It is DJ, it is Volpe, and then it is one of Rizzo or Torres every day. Outside of that, there's not a player in this lineup I think might get on base.
I mean, this team is 26th in it. Guys, they have a worse average than the White Sox.
They got less hits than the Athletics.
And the Athletics have 6 wins.
That's crazy. This is not even. I can't even look at just the players here because I can't get mad at these guys. Isaiah Connor.
It's not like they're not trying.
Aaron Hicks. I can't even get mad at them. They're what the back of their baseball card would suggest they are. Brian Cashman did not assemble the depth. That was the strength of the Yankees for years.
Like I'm saying,
Joe Urshela's, Luke Voigt's, Luis Heels. Guys came up, could fill in adequately. There's nobody in the farm system left. They've all graduated and been traded.
And that was my
thing. Guys that are hurt.
That was my thing is you're trading away guys in your farm system guys like a Gio Urshela who were helping you when they were here, but you move off of him to get Josh Donaldson and shit.
And you know what?
What are we doing?
I can buy into Josh Donaldson finding something this year as a number 6 hitter.
Not as a number 4.
As your 4 or 5? When you know Stanton's going to go down, Judge is not going to be 60 home run Judge. Torres is a gamble at best.
Which I think I wanted to talk about Stanton real quick because I looked at his stats. His stats are good, but he's only got 52 fucking at bats.
Yeah.
He's not playing, which we can't be surprised. This has been Giancarlo Stanton for the last 2 or 3 years. He produces when he's on the field, but he's just never on the fucking field. So it's like, I'm not even a Yankees fan, but I expect them to be better than this. When you're telling me they have less hits than the Oakland Athletics, who have, I want to emphasize this, have 6 fucking wins. 6, not 10, not 6.
Not even like 12, where it's like, all right,
they're
at least trying.
They are 6-25. Their starters have a combined ERA of almost 10. Yet they have more hits than the New York Yankees.
This team's ERA is somewhere in the low 4s. I bet if we butter knifed out Garrett Cole, it'd be in the 6s.
And that's crazy as to say because Garrett Cole's ERA was a 3 last year, and he's looked like the best pitcher on the goddamn planet. But as I said, it's like I watch a Garrett Cole start. He goes 8 shutout innings, and the Yankees still lose the game 8-3.
Yep.
Because their bullpen gave up 9 runs. It's fucking. I don't know if.
And I don't know if this is I don't know if there's a move out there that fixes this. Because you know what?
I want to look at the team and say there's no moves that can fix it. These guys just have to play better. You got to hold these players accountable.
But I cannot. Willie Calhoun's the player his baseball card suggests he is. He was the worst hitter in baseball over the last 2 years, and I got plenty of numbers that can back that up. He's getting regular at-bats, batting cleanup. I cannot get mad at him here.
And I can't get mad at guys
like Cordero was striking out, but you know what? At least he hit the ball hard.
Like, I can't get mad at guys like Volpe, like Judge, like Rizzo, because there's only so much you can fucking do when 3 guys are hitting well and the other fucking 6 guys aren't doing shit.
Yep.
At least with teams like the Red Sox, at least it's like, okay, you're getting 1 through 7, 1 through 8. You might have those hiccups here and there. Or even with teams like...
With the Yankees, it feels like after you get past the number 5 hitter, you can just take the lineup off.
Not even the 5.
Like, sometimes it's
after it's like, it feels almost sometimes when I'm watching them, it's like, you get by Rizzo, Volpe, and Judge, and you might as well pull up a fucking beach chair. I'm over here getting knocked over by the wind watching Franchi Cordero swing the bat. Because he's either hitting it into the short porch or he's not hitting it at all. But then again, the Yankees are I've said they are for years. They hit home runs or they strike out. Besides Judge, none of them hit for average. Besides maybe Judge and Rizzo, they don't hit for average.
Volpe's figured it out last few weeks. He's hitting over 320.
And I'm okay with that. That's what I expected.
But I mean,
him.
That's not into the fabric of the team.
There is one other team that I want to talk about that I think you might want to talk about with me that's been disappointing. So if you have anything left
there's a handful of teams.
But there's one specifically I want to talk about because they made a move recently that pissed me off.
I also want to talk about continuing with Brian Cashman. You know who'd be really useful to have right now? Jordan Montgomery.
Oh, yeah.
You know who we traded him for? Center field that's played 6 games.
But another guy, he was hurt when you traded for him.
It's just like, it was another guy.
You're trading for guys already on the IL.
Yeah.
Like you traded for Bader and then the next day announced, hey, he's on the 60-day IL.
Yeah.
He didn't even play a game for you when you traded for him. Like, did they trade it for him in the offseason or was it the end of last year?
It was the deadline. They traded Montgomery, who was their number 2 starter
You traded for him at the deadline. And how many games did he play for you once he got traded?
I think he played 3.
Like 3 games? And that was from the deadline to the end of the year.
And they were all that last series, I want to say, with Texas. Then he played in the playoffs.
I may hate my franchise. I may hate my franchise. My franchise doesn't trade for guys on the fucking IL. We're trading for a guy who's playing 3 games. Do you guys know when the trade deadline is?
August 2nd.
You're telling me from August 2nd to the end of the year, you played 3 fucking games? 3. And then you get a whole off season. And then you start the year on the IL.
Yep.
How does that fucking happen? How'd you get hurt in the 3 games you played?
With the same injury. Who on your training staff misdiagnosed that much that he was able to play in September and then not April?
And it's not even like he played.
Which one messed up?
It's not even like he played in October either.
Yeah, he did.
Are you sure? Because granted, they weren't in for very long.
He played against Cleveland, and then he rolled his ankle rounding second or something.
The Yankees are just a fucking shit show.
Don't you love it?
I want to disagree with you, but I can't.
And we thought at the beginning of the year, I thought I was going to be having this rant with the Red Sox. But I mean, hey, and by the way, they're the only team in Boston that's actually been making me happy lately, except for the Celtics last night. Big win for the C's last night.
Big win. But
30,
not making us
you know
happy.
what?
I can tell you
34
that.
point blowout.
Another thing, all these guys you didn't want to part with, Davey Garcia, you're not bringing him up right now. You're on your 10th starter.
The Yankees made the mistake of
Clark Schmidt's a guy you wouldn't part with. You wouldn't have parted with for anybody. You wouldn't put him in any package the last 5 years. He is easily the weakest link of your starting rotation, bad.
How many guys do you think they missed out on just because they didn't want to part ways with guys who aren't doing fucking shit for them?
You want me to just run down the list of guys I can think of off the top of my head?
Go ahead.
Brian Reynolds, be real useful right now.
Just signed an 8-year extension with Pittsburgh, by the way.
Ian Happ, be real useful right now. Sandy Alcantara, be real useful.
Oh, yeah. NL Cy Young winner? Could have used that on your roster.
I mean, they had Sonny Gray, and they were like, you know everything that made you good? Do the opposite of that.
Could have traded for Luis Castillo at the deadline last year. Didn't want to package Oswaldo Cabrera, so then you got stuck with Frankie Montas. Yeah. And guess what Luis Castillo was doing in October? Winning games.
And you know what? Frankie Montas' teammates. Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Sean Manaea. Could have had all of them.
And instead you walked away with nothing. But they traded for Anthony Rizzo.
Those were separate deadlines.
And
you know what? Can I speak from you? Can I speak to you, spoiled fan base to spoiled fan base?
Yes, you can.
This reminds me eerily of the 2021 Yankees, which had 5 months they were a 500 team. They had 1 month they were, I believe, 18-8 was the record. And then they got the asses kicked in the wild card game by the Red Sox. This is eerily similar to that team.
Very. Because are we saying this isn't a team who could flip a switch in the coming months and all of a sudden we look up in their second place? Because I don't think they're catching Tampa at this point.
I think Tampa already won the division in April.
I think Tampa.
And you know what?
Tampa is on fire.
And you know what? Can you convince me that Donaldson and Judge come back and the team catches fire and they won't run off 22 games in May? Sure. But you know what? I'm not putting any money on that.
I'm not putting money on it because I look at the rest of their division. Are we forgetting how good the rest of their division has been this year? The Baltimore Orioles guys are sitting at 20-10.
I know, dude.
And I mean, we're talking about running off games. This can tailspin quick. You have Rays, Athletics, Rays, Toronto, Cincinnati, Baltimore, San Diego, Seattle, Dodgers. You could very easily be sitting, you're 9 games back now. You could be sitting 14 back at the end of the month.
And I think, and my worry with the Yankees is it's like, at some point, are they going to hit a point where it's like, okay, we can't win the division. Now we have to get into the wild card.
And you know what?
Because I'll say it right now.
As a Yankee fan, I obviously want to see the team make the playoffs. And there's a part of me that says, no, miss. Because then change is going to happen.
I was going to say,
then they're going to get rid of this guy that hasn't done anything in 15 years for this team.
What happens if we roll into September and this team doesn't make the wild card game? What if this team misses the playoffs?
I think you're looking at the front office and the coaching staff getting gutted.
Which I want to
And you know what? I wanted that to happen 3 years ago.
I want to specify this. This is very early. We have played a month of baseball. Are you and me saying that this team can't make the playoffs? Absolutely not.
I'm not saying they can't, but you know what? I think right now it is more likely they miss than they make it.
I mean, you'll have to see how the rest of the year plays out.
Because I sat through some bad Yankees teams. This is the most concerning month of baseball I've ever seen.
I don't even want to say look at the deadline because I feel like for the last 4 years we've been saying, watch the Yankees at the deadline. They're going to make that move to put them over the top.
Yeah, just like we were going to make the Garrett Cole trade. Oh, wait, he went to Houston, won a World Series.
But
beating the Yankees in the process.
Are you good with your Yankee spiel?
Yeah.
I want to get into a rant about another team that's utterly disappointing.
There's a couple of ways we can go here. I want to guess.
What team do you want to guess that I want to talk about?
All right, there's two central teams I'm looking at.
Oh, well, you're in the right division, but which one do you think I'm talking about specifically?
For you, I'm going to say the Cardinals.
You're exactly right. Do you want to know why I want to talk about the Cardinals?
Because they're 10-22.
Do you know, not only are they 10-22, but Mike, do you know what they did as of recently? What is the one thing all offseason I told you that team should not be doing with young stars?
Sending them down?
They sent Jordan Walker down when he was arguably their best offensive player. You're expecting a guy to go from playing third base to playing the outfield. Of course his defense isn't going to translate right away. He's moving from the hot corner to the outfield. Yes, was the power not there? No. He was hitting almost 300 when you sent him down. I saw that news and oh my God, Mike, I wanted to throw my fucking phone through my screen. Nolan Arenado has a lower batting average than Jordan Walker does this year. And Jordan Walker's not playing. It's just, oh my God. When I saw it, Mike, I was so pissed off, Mike. It was unfucking believable. Like, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. You're going to kill this kid's confidence. You're going to kill it before it even got started. What was the point in putting him on the opening day roster if you were going to send him down before he even finished a month in the big leagues? Like, oh my God.
So disappointing.
The Cardinals are disappointing. They might be more the Yankees obviously mean more to me. Cardinals might be the most disappointing team in the league.
And you know what's the worst part right now is I want to back this point, but he's hitting 130 and 23 at-bats. He's got 3 hits and 23 at-bats. Do you think that has to do with the fact that, oh, wow, I made the opening day roster and then got sent down after 2 weeks?
Mike, are you aware, in terms of win percentage, there are 2 teams worse in the league than them, the Athletics and the Royals?
Oy. Mike, do you want me to read you Jordan Walker's stats before he got sent down?
No, because it's
274 average.
The Cardinals always seemed to be a team that had that devil magic. I think they pissed off the devil because he stole it from them. I mean, they're playing games here. They're not even competitive in some of these.
I'm talking about how bad Jordan Walker's defense was in right field. Didn't make an error all fucking in the fucking 20 games that he played.
Like, they're not even competitive in some of these. Like 7-0 to the Giants? I can't name 7 starters on the Giants.
They're awful right now. Their staff is terrible, and their 2 superstars are doing nothing. And by the way, can I just say, Wilson Contreras.
Take it easy on Paul Goldschmidt. I think he's hitting 320 right now.
Okay, I'll take it easy on Paul Goldschmidt. I'm not going to take it easy on his corner counterpart who's hitting 220 right now. Yep. I don't care. At the end of the day, Nolan Arenado, I don't care how good a fucking defense you play. I also pay you to fucking hit. And you're not hitting. And you know who else I paid to hit? Wilson Contreras. And you know what he's not fucking doing? Fucking hitting. Granted, he's picked it up recently. He's hitting 284. But, dude, between him and Arenado, they have the same amount of homers as Goldschmidt. Mike, would you believe me if I told you that Nolan Gorman is probably the best hitter on this team right now that's not named Paul Goldschmidt?
No. I would look at Paul DeYoung, Lars Nootbaar, Tyler O'Neill.
Oh, it's okay. Tyler O'Neill's hitting 228. It's all right. But, like, I'm looking at this right now. Jordan Walker, 20 games. I'm comparing him to who's playing right field for them right now. I'm hypothetically saying they have Alec Brunson, or I think Burleson, Alex Burleson. Yeah, Alec Burleson right now, I'm assuming, is who they're playing in front of Jordan Walker. Yeah, Jordan Walker has 2 hits that's like almost twice his hits in almost 10 less games. Would you believe me, Mike, if I told you that Jordan Walker in 19 less games has only 9 less hits than Nolan Arenado?
No, because I always thought Nolan Arenado was a guy for average.
It's fucking crazy to me that Tyler O'Neill's played 29 games, has 1 more hit. Like, I know I'm rambling about Jordan Walker. It's just I just didn't see the point of it would be the same thing as if
it's almost indicative of the Cardinals. They had something good and then they just got rid of it. Like I don't know what happened to them.
Like my thing is I don't know what the reason was. Yes, was his slugging percentage not there? No. He played 20 games. He had 73 at bats.
And can we just
20 hits and 73 at bats with 11 RBIs. Granted, 20 strikeouts to 3 walks. Is that concerning? A little bit, but dude, he's played 20 games in the big leagues.
Is it that far out of the norm at this point in baseball?
No, because it's not like he wasn't hit. Like his OBP was 321. His OPS was 712. Like maybe it's because I'm I like the young guys in the big leagues because you know why? Because I'm seeing what Adley Rutschman is doing. I'm seeing what Anthony Volpe is doing. I'm seeing what Corbin Carroll is doing. And I'm like, why can Jordan Walker not be doing the same thing? Why are these guys just not like, I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about the Cardinals anymore? Because I really don't.
I don't know where their losses are even coming from.
They're just getting the shit kicked out of them. That's what it is. They're just getting the shit kicked out of them.
Toronto's a legitimate team. You shouldn't get blown out twice. Atlanta, fair enough. You should not lose 2 out of 3 to Milwaukee. All right, you took 2 out of 3 against Colorado.
You're supposed to be the powerhouse of this division.
You're losing 2 out of 3 to Arizona, who I was high on them. I'm not fully sold yet. You're losing 2 out of 3 to Seattle, who we're going to get to later.
Mike, they lost
3 out of 4 to the Giants. Giants are a 4th place team.
Mike, they played today. They lost 11-7 to the Angels.
Yeah.
And just to rattle off for you what happened today. Yeah, not a single one of those RBIs was driven in by Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani. Do you want to hear? Well, okay, I'll tell you this, Mike. They lost. Mike Trout didn't even play, and Shohei Ohtani went 1 for 3. And you lost the game.
Yeah.
By the way, that's indicative of the Angels, by the way. Ohtani and Trout do nothing. They win. Ohtani and Trout do everything. They lose. Mike, do you want to get on to some good notes at this point? Because I really don't want to talk about bad teams anymore. Do you know who I really do want to talk about?
I just want to say, Seattle Mariners, for my sake, because I said Julio Rodriguez could win MVP. Please get your shit together.
Please fix it.
Please get your shit together. I don't know what the hell.
Also, Phillies, you have no more excuses anymore. Bryce Harper's back in your lineup. Fucking figure it out. I don't care. By the way, huge kudos to Bryce Harper. The fact that he is back playing after having Tommy John surgery.
Brace on his arm. That was hysterical.
Can we not forget this guy just had Tommy John surgery not even 200 days ago.
Yep.
And he's already back in your lineup. I saw people like, oh, Harper struck out in his first at bat. That motherfucker can probably barely move his arm.
If I had Tommy John surgery, I'd probably just die.
He came back after
But that just goes 6 months later.
But that just goes to show you how bad the Phillies have been, where Bryce Harper felt like, I need to fucking come back with how bad we've been.
They were like, Bryce, you can't throw. He goes, I'll learn a position that I don't need to throw in it.
I'll learn a position. Mike, Mike, I'm going to lead to you right now. I'm going to tell you the top teams in baseball by wins.
No. I have a better idea.
Shut the fuck up.
No. I have a better idea. Let's talk about the Pirates.
20-12, leading the NL Central. They're 5. Granted, they're 5-5 in their last 10, so they might be cooling off a little bit. 9-4 at home, 11-8 on the away. Andrew McCutchen looks like he's a fucking MVP. Which, by the way, Mike, how crazy we're talking about this team as they're on a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? They're on a 4-game losing streak. They still have the 2nd most wins in the league. National League.
I was going to say they have the 3rd most wins in the league.
Oh, man, dramatic fall.
Oh, boy. But I mean...
And they lost to Tampa. They lost to a real team. Like, they didn't go get swept by Detroit.
And they're doing this all without O'Neal Cruz. Granted, I don't think he was doing much, but it's like, are they just finding lightning in a bottle? Like, is this sustainable for them? That's my question.
Yes.
It is,
because this is not a core you look at of guys that are
getting
lucky. It's guys that put the ball in play.
Big money moves. That boy Brian Reynolds, 8-year extension. Kudos to Brian Reynolds. Yep. You fucking deserved it.
I mean, Pittsburgh, your window's here. This is what you should do.
Make the playoffs, and if you can go in at the deadline,
I think also we look at it. I mean, we talked about Tampa might have already clinched the division. 20-8 in April, they might have made the playoffs in April. Like, I don't know.
I mean, they're not that much further above Milwaukee. They're only a half game above. Like, they don't have a lead like.
But I'm looking at it.
They don't have a lead like. They don't have a lead like Atlanta has in the East.
But I mean, these wild card teams are going to be 5-6 games behind them. I don't trust Miami to go on that kind of a run. I haven't seen it from the Mets yet. Well, you know,
the Mets did also just get.
Are we going to think they are in the full MLB? You're saying 20-12. Where do you think that is?
They are currently 4th right now. Record-wise, they're 4th. They are only behind Tampa Bay. They are tied with Baltimore and Atlanta for wins right now. They have 2 more losses than both of those teams and 1 less win.
I mean, Andrew McCutcheon's was one of my first favorite players when I started watching. So anytime I see him,
doing well,
being MVP Kutch, I'm happy for him. I'm
smiling. We talked about it last time we were here.
When he went to Pittsburgh,
superpowers.
Also, when he went to the Giants and he went to the Yankees and Philly, he just didn't look right. He just looks right in a Pirates.
He looks right.
He just looks right.
Because you know what I get the image of every time?
Good.
He just looks right.
Every time I see Andrew McCutchen in a Pirates,
it's like Albert Pujols when he left the Cardinals. It just didn't look right.
It's almost like when I look at it's like we talked about before we started. It's like Manny Ramirez and like an A's
when
uniform.
He was with the A's. It just didn't.
You know? It doesn't look the same as it looked when he was in a Red Sox uniform.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, granted, of course, he was great with Cleveland as well, but prime Manny was with Boston. Yep. We know that. He didn't look the same when he was in Boston. It's like Griffey wearing a Reds jersey. It's not the same as Griffey in a Mariners jersey.
Ichiro wearing the Marlins uniform.
It's not the same.
When he wore a Yankee uniform, it at least looked like, you know what, I could see.
There's just some players where they just don't look right in certain uniforms. Andrew McCutchen's one of those guys where any uniform he was in that wasn't a Pirates uniform
just didn't look right.
It's like if Miguel Cabrera at this point was on any team other than the Tigers.
Weird.
It just doesn't know.
Like King Felix when he went to the Braves, it just didn't look right.
He played for the Braves.
He's a spring training guy, but like just seeing him in
seeing him in a uniform that wasn't, seeing him in a place that wasn't the King's court.
Yeah,
just no. But I think the Pirates. You know, we talk about
Reynolds.
I love Brian Reynolds.
He's doing pretty good.
Can we talk about another team though, real quick? Similar record to them, Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, I thought we were going to Texas.
No.
I kind of felt that.
Fuck Texas. They're 18-12. Fuck Texas. But right now, Baltimore sitting at 20-10. Can I just say
21-10? They won today.
I've never been more happy to be right about a guy than I am about Adley fucking Rutschman. I've been talking about this guy for what, 2-3 years now, Mike?
More than that.
Told you he was going to be a superstar, and guess what he's been? Nothing short of a fucking star. Right now, 117 at-bats, 35 hits, 4 bombs, 18 ribbies, 24 walks to 19 strikeouts. He's hitting damn near 300, a 418 OBP, 444 slugging, 857 OPS plus. Oh, yeah, and by the way, he's playing Gold Glove defense behind the dish. What more could you ask for?
And can we also they're beating real teams. They beat Boston. They beat Texas. They lost 2 or 3 to the
real
Yankees.
Team. I love it.
You know, they beat the real teams, and you know what? They beat the bad teams. They got 7 games against Oakland and Chicago. They won 5. They swept Washington and Detroit. They took 2 out of 3 from Boston. They swept Detroit again. Like, they're beating real teams and beating the bad teams.
But that's another thing that I wanted to talk about is they're not losing to the teams they should lose to. They're beating the teams they should lose to, and beating the teams they should beat. And the teams that they should lose to, they're beating them too.
It's like I'm sick of people, change the subject a little bit, saying Tampa didn't beat anybody. Half of being a good team is just beating bad teams.
That's what I think everybody forgets.
It's what the Yankees aren't doing, and it's what Tampa did 16 times to start the year.
They got a good schedule, and they said, and that's what you need to do at the start of the year when you get bad teams. Beat them. Because guess what? The games you win in April are games you don't have to worry about in September.
You know, I say it to you all the time. The get fat portion of the season is from April to the All-Star break, and then after that, it's got check time. All right, you get to the All-Star break, and you're up 8 games. Division race is over.
Yeah,
you already got it.
Pretty much. Or even those teams we've seen teams go into the All-Star break up 12 games. You're not coming back from down 12.
Those Dodgers teams just going to All-Star breaks. They're up like 40 games, it felt like.
And that's what I'm saying. Look at even the Braves the last couple of years. We're walking into the All-Star break, and the Braves have a 14-game lead on the Mets. And everyone's like, oh, the Mets can't. No.
Except last year when the Mets blew it in the last weekend, which was hilarious. Lol, Mets is eternal.
Well, guess what? Look at them this year. Everyone just I said it this year was going to be the Braves, and then everyone. And can I just say, where the fuck was all this Mets talk coming? Anyone with a brain knew this division was going to be the Braves and then everyone else trying to fucking catch the Braves. The Braves, if you look, and just to talk on them real quick, can we finally dead the logic that Ronald Acuna is not better than Juan? Ronald Acuna is better than Juan Soto.
Yep.
Can we stop? I've been saying it, Mike, and you can back me on this.
Yep.
I've been saying it for 4 or 5 years. Ronald Acuna does everything that Juan Soto does, but he just does it more consistently. He doesn't hit for average. He's hitting for average this year. He doesn't hit for power. He's hitting bombs. But do you know what he does that Juan Soto doesn't do? He can steal bases. He plays great defense. Juan Soto plays good defense. Juan Soto might be one of the worst defensive right fielders I've ever seen.
That might be a stretch.
He's bad out there, Mike.
He's bad, but I don't know. I sat through Clint Frazier, man. He's not one of the worst I've seen.
Fair enough. But for a superstar, he's very bad. But, where was, I get it. Okay, yeah, Soto hit 312 or 320 with 40-something homers. Acuna's going to hit around 280 with 40 homers, but he's also going to add in 40 bags. Like, Acuna might be, and I don't want to jinx it, so I'm going to, do we have a piece of wood around here somewhere? Can I knock on wood before Okay, I'm going to knock on wood before I say this. My Ronald Acuna for MVP pick is looking real fucking good right now.
My pick's looking shit.
What was your pick again?
I picked Arenado.
But
Sorry, Nolan. I think I jinxed you.
But I mean,
Adley Rutschman for MVP.
Hey, that's looking good for me too. But then again, he might not even be the best catcher in baseball right now. Do you know why he might not be the best?
Why?
Because the Braves have the best. Because Sean Murphy's balling. But by the way, Mike, who do you think leads the Braves in home runs right now without looking it up? Who do you think leads them in homers?
Zuna. I feel like
we're going to ignore that. All right. Who do you think, Mike? Who do you think leads them in homers and RBIs right now?
Matt Olson.
No. Who would your second guess be?
Ronald Acuna.
Who would your third guess be?
Ozzie Albies.
Ozzie Albies leads the
I think I was closer than him.
Ozzie Albies, Mike.
What?
Mike,
my name was closer.
Mike, would you believe me right now if I told you that Ozzie Albies is hitting 275 with 9 homers and 26 RBIs? He's got more homers than Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna, and Matt Olson this year. And he's like the 5th guy in your lineup you have to worry about.
He's the afterthought when you're preparing.
He's the guy where it's like, oh, Ozzie's up. I'm not expecting him to take me deep. But guess what, Mike? Who do you think leads the Braves in batting average this year?
Ozzie Albies.
Huh? No, it's not Ozzie.
Orlando Arcia.
No. It's Ronald Acuna hitting 355.
It's all right.
Mike, Ronald Acuna has 43 hits in 121 at-bats with 28 runs scored. Mike, how many times this year do you think? Oh, by the way, also, Mike, sorry. To add on to the fact that Acuna has, 6 homers, 11 doubles, 43 hits, 19 RBIs. Yeah, he's also got 14 bags already. Is it crazy to say that Acuna could run away with this MVP award if he stays healthy?
I think it's crazy to say he could run away with it because I think you also look at some of the guys. He should run away with it, but you look at Pete Alonso's got the bigger market, so if the Mets are good, he'll get a lot of votes.
Mike, if I go to you in September and Ronald Acuna's hitting around the 300 threshold, he's got 38 homers, he's got 40 bags, he's got 100-something RBIs. Are you telling me he's not MVP?
He is, but I think it was up for debate whether Judge was MVP. He broke records that had stood for 6 decades.
Well, he was also being compared to a two-way. I think that's a little unfair.
A two-way on a bad team.
A two-way on a bad team who also had an ERA of around 1, hit 34 homers, drove in almost 100 RBIs. Granted,
I think an irrelevant team. I'm sorry. I believe it is most valuable player if you're shattering records that have stood for 6 decades on a good team. You're the MVP.
But to back up what I just said, Acuna, if he goes 40 for 40, I think it's MVP no matter how many homers Pete Alonso hits.
But I think you look at it.
182 home runs. He's the MVP.
I revoke his speaking privileges.
Is it time we move on to
get out?
When do we go to the NFL so Mike can be more involved?
Next week.
I was just making a point.
Fair enough.
Can I tell you?
I think it's also possible we're looking at if Pittsburgh's alive late into the season, you could be looking at maybe a Brian Reynolds MVP race, which I don't think anybody saw coming.
I think at the end of the day, if the Braves win the NL East, I don't care how good somebody's going to have to absolutely ball out to take this award from Acuna at this point. Because
okay, how about this?
Mike, we've seen Acuna good. We've never seen him this good.
Luis Arias hitting 400 right now. If he's hitting 400 in September, who are you voting for?
Ronald Acuna, because his team's going to be better, and he's going to have every stat besides batting average.
Miami might be in the playoff race, though. This is a weak league. I've said it to you all along.
But Mike, we're forgetting Luis Arias can hit 400. Acuna's going to hit around the 300 threshold. He's also going to bag you damn near 40 homers and 40 RBIs and drive in almost 100. And everyone has talked about the last couple. I think we're forgetting because Acuna's been hurt the last couple of years. This is nothing new.
Yeah.
This is who Ronald Acuna has been since he came up. He's been a guy who's going to hit homers. And by the way, with these new pitching rules, Acuna's having a field day on the base paths. Same thing I think you can agree with Anthony Volpe. Yep. These guys are having field days on the base paths. Acuna could steal 40, and I wouldn't even be surprised. But I mean, I'm looking at the Braves, and there's not a flaw in this lineup. 1 through 8, it's like, fucking shit. And by the way, to add on to their rotation, it's not like Spencer Strider isn't absolutely shoving right now. If I can get the stats, Spencer Strider has an ERA right now of 2.57 with 57 strikeouts. Mike, what do you think his K per 9 is, Spencer Strider, right now?
K per 14.
14.7.
Damn.
Mike,
I wasn't even able to guess.
Mike, he's got
so
57 strikeouts to 14 walks in 35 innings.
Shit.
He's 4-0. He has an ERA of 2.57. Their staff has been...
You know what? Everybody talks about Spencer Strider. Let me give some love to my guy, Max Fried.
I was just about to get there.
20 innings pitched, 4 games started, 20 innings pitched, ERA of .45.
Mike, he's given up 1 earned run.
He's given up 1 run.
Mike, he's given up 1 earned run. Mike, he's given up 14 hits. 20 innings, 14 hits.
1 run. Was it a word? Was it a home run? Do we know that?
No.
It was an earned run, so it was off a hit or a walk. But
yeah, but we don't know if it was a home run.
No, it wasn't a homer. He hasn't given up a homer all year.
All right.
Game long.
They had to work for it, too. Get 2 lucky hits together.
I mean, he's got a whip of .9. And, I mean, their bullpen's been fine as well. I mean, I'm not, surprised with their bullpen either. Besides A.J. Minter, who's been absolutely dog shit. But, I mean, the Braves are going to be the Braves. But this episode was mainly just to talk about how decent the Red Sox
I got a
are.
question.
What's your question?
Run difference. Who do you think has run difference in the league?
Who has the best run difference?
Got to be Tampa.
It's got to be Tampa.
All right.
It's Tampa. It's Tampa or Atlanta.
No,
Atlanta's actually
Tampa had all those blowouts early.
So it's Tampa. Atlanta's third.
Team with more losses is above them.
Pittsburgh.
No.
Team with more losses than who? With more losses than
Atlanta.
So Atlanta only has
10
losses. So
this
a team that has
12.
more.
Baltimore?
No.
Is it Texas?
It is the Rangers.
The Rangers' offense has been
that's
great.
helped out by
So
they
they're
beat
at
the Yankees
they're at
17-2.
70. They have 70. What do you think Tampa's number is?
Oh, it's got to be damn near in the hundreds.
106, I think I saw earlier.
Close. You got to guess?
No, it's got to be in the hundreds.
114.
Oh, by the way,
wild. That's crazy.
Just so I can toss some news out there, by the way, for all those.
How many games is that?
Real quick, just because as we're recording, the Red Sox Blue Jays is currently happening. Just for all you motherfuckers who talk shit about that boy Mazza, just went deep again to extend his hit streak to 13 games.
32 games.
13-game hit streak. Mazza goes yaba. Mazza goes deep to dead center off of that bitch boy Kevin Gausman. But yeah.
Woo!
Red Sox absolutely balling again.
That's all right.
But yeah. I don't know. What else do we got? 14-game hit streak for Mazda at this point.
Cleveland. I watched you the last 3 nights. Figure your shit out. You're way better than that. That's all I got.
Arizona. You started off hot. What the fuck happened? Figure it the fuck out. Let's get back on track. Let's focus. Let's get back on track, please. San Diego. Xander Bogaerts should not be the best hitter on your team. Machado, Tatis, Soto, figure it the fuck out.
Cubs, figure it out. I got money riding on you. Marlins, Cardinals, Twins, Astros, beat them. All if you go win all
White
12
Sox.
games.
What the fuck?
That's going to be its own episode. I don't think we can do that here.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we get a whole episode that's just
I got a
dedicated
Mookie
to
Betts
the...
thing.
What is your Mookie Betts
TLR
thing?
just
How do you
destroyed
think
the whole
about the
franchise.
Dodgers been playing them in the infield every now and then?
I think
they
have to because Gavin Lux is hurt.
Yeah.
Which that just goes to show how good a player Mookie Betts is. Putting himself
Just picked up a new position.
Picked up a new position like it was nothing. Granted, has his offense been where it usually is? And I don't think so.
No, but I expect
know.
that playing different things like that getting thrown in.
You have to think for
Mookie.
Mookie. And I agree. You have to think for Mookie at this point. The Dodgers are going to be good regardless of what he does. But I mean, right now, what? Mookie's hitting 270 with a 478 slug, 851.
Yeah, I was
OPS.
more on the defensive thing for him.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I don't think
Any other questions that we
Oh, he's been freaking taking the second most bathroom behind the first baseman too.
Next month he has 12 tanks this year. What a fucking guy. Well, Mike, Mets, by the way, no excuses. No fucking excuses. I don't figure it the fuck out. I have no excuses for you. Houston, you're 16-15. You're worse.
Houston always starts slow. I'm not worried about Houston.
They're worse than the Angels right now, Mike.
They were through 40 games last year, too.
Fair enough.
Seattle, what the hell happened to you?
They're 15-16, Mike. Come on.
They're
14 not even 40 games.
15, they won today.
Okay.
Who's doing it?
They're 15-16.
All right.
Is that it? Are we good?
Yeah, you want to do your outro?
Mike, you all set?
No.
Why, who are you yelling at now?
Giants. I knew they were bad.
All right, that's it. That has been the Dumb Jocks episode. We will see you whenever we see you again to recap the NFL draft. Go Hawks, go. Go Steelers. Fuck the Patriots. Peace out, homeboys.
Jets still suck.